Showtime, everybody! Showtime!
Okay, people, it's showtime!
All right, everybody, it's showtime.
All right, everybody, it's showtime.
Now take your position. It's showtime.
Hey, heads up, everybody! It's showtime!
Oh, it's time!
All right, ladies, buckle up. It's showtime.
Here we go, showtime.
Okay, fellas. Showtime.
Okay, it's showtime!
Ed Berliner, the fastest show in sports.
Greetings, true believers. Welcome back to the fastest show in sports. I am your host. I am your moderator. I am the guy who stirs the pot all the time, Ed Berliner. And the gentleman who joins me today is the other one who stirs the other pot from Panama, which means that whatever he says, nobody can touch him legally. That's why he says what he does. Mike Wise joins us. Is that not correct? I mean, you are legally untouchable in anything that is said today because you have that distance going for you. Yes?
Yeah, but as we found out, people can be gotten anywhere these days. It's everybody's got their own mafia. It's unbelievable.
Wait a minute, you have a mafia?
No, I don't, but
Okay.
but everybody else does.
I was just checking because you scared the hell out of me there for a second when I thought of all the things I've already said that I might be having to watch a target on my back. You just don't do that, Mike.
Well, you're a Florida man.
Please don't. God, I hate to admit that. Every single time I tell people I live in Florida, I feel like going, but I'm not one of those.
You're right.
Every single time. By the way, before we begin, do you get Apple TV?
Yes, I do.
Have you been watching Stick?
No, I heard it's good. You know why I
Watch
got
it.
Apple TV? I was, everybody's like Ted Lasso. I'm like, this could be some stupid sappy show. And Ted Lasso was just great. And it was one of the best TV series I'd ever seen. And so I kept Apple, and I'm waiting for the relaunch of Ted Lasso season 4 at some point.
Okay, well, but before you do that, go watch Stick because it is. They have finally taken what was the essence of like the end of Caddyshack and turned it into a really good drama comedy. Owen Wilson is perfect, and some of the golf look, the kid they have playing like an 18-year-old phenom in Stick. I mean, this kid is awesome. I am already jealous as hell of him because he's 18 and he can hit the crap out of the ball. So I mean, I hate it.
I'm not even a golf guy, but I'll watch it because I'm sure it's funny.
No, go ahead and watch it. All right, let's get rolling here.
Yeah.
This is it. I'm sick and tired of the bullshit that goes on in sports. And by the way, before we get to that, let me say something. I've already dropped the first B bomb of the day.
Yeah.
Mike and I have quite frankly decided that this show is going to be basically the unfettered, undisputed truth. Because as we look around at sports talk these days, it is all bullshit. It is all people just sucking up to Disney and sucking up to ESPN and throwing out nonsense on social media. It's about time somebody got down to just telling the truth. I mean, that's all there is about sports these days. And we have managed to do it thus far and piss off a small amount of people. We are now looking to piss off even more people. We want more.
It's easy to. Everybody wants to distinguish themselves because everybody's got a podcast these days, and I bet. And you said you hit it on the head early on in this when you said just be yourself. Take the conversation where it will go. Well, where it's gone over time for us in just a couple of months is. There's so much homogenized crap out there, and every segment on every show feels like it's producer led. And here are the 5 questions you need to answer. Is MJ better than LeBron? Like, and even the ESPYs the other night. We can get into it, but it was I work for ESPN. They gave me a settlement. They had me. I loved working with the people I worked with for a few years, and I love a lot of still people that work there. But there was something so cringy about even the opening that I was just kind of like, Well, this is sports. People are supposed to have fun. And if you don't have fun, then you better get into the issues and get into them deep and get into them real, or nobody's going to pay attention anymore.
Well, that's just it. Everything these days in sports talk, whether it's podcast, radio, television, it makes no difference. It is all kissing the ass of someone somewhere and trying to fit a certain niche. It's like here we have, thank God Fox finally canceled FS1, a number of the talk shows on it. They were absolute nonsense because all it was, and look, it was people like Joy Taylor who was sitting there and trying to look her prettiest and trying to look the best that she can and trying to say something nice so that the young white males between the ages of 18 and 30 would be happy to see her and they would be happy to argue about absolute nonsense that's not based on anything that is a real issue in sports. And now, not only do we have Pat McAfee still sitting there spewing his absolute Gen X, Gen Z nonsense, now we've got them getting in bed with Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports, who is just nothing more than somebody who's another fire starter. Here's a guy who loads up the flamethrower every day and tries to create something that is absolute nonsense. Mike, this goes back to what I said at the beginning, at the very first show we ever did, and you and I talked about it. It is the phrase I call contrived controversy. And you've just made it to where you said homogenized, which is basically what it is, but taking all this contrived controversy and trying to, again, and you've talked about it, those white males between the ages of 18 and 30 that, what's the word you use, manification or something?
The manosphere. They're
manosphere.
Part of the manosphere. They you know, everybody's sort of in this weird, it's like this, it's backlash to actually decent society. You used to be a guy that, you know, now it's all women are evil. They're only supposed to be used as sperm receptacles. And by the way, I'm lonely and home in my mom's basement. Like, these are just miserable human beings. I don't want to be with them anymore. I don't want to be even part of them. If I acted like this when I was 18 to 30, I wouldn't have had the career I had. I mean, I just, you know, people would have said, what a frat boy tool this guy is. He just doesn't get it.
Which is that's another great way to put it too, which is what a lot of sports talk has become these days. It is frat boy bullshit, where it is, can we talk more? And look, this goes down as well to Pat McAfee. McAfee, who had to make light of a young lady who was out there on social media, who was basically being trashed by everybody, and he just got involved in it. You know, he had to get involved in it because it was clickbait. And that's the next thing. It is this, from places like FS1 and McAfee and Portnoy and Barstool Sports, it is clickbait frat boy nonsense that they've got to get involved in. So Mike and I have made this pact now with ourselves, with our guests, whatever. No more of this nonsense. Let's just, if we're going to talk about sports, let's try and bring it back to something that is, I mean, entertaining, but at least having some kind of meat to it, instead of having to worry about somebody posts something on Facebook or Twitter or X or TikTok that's all of a sudden titillating. And there's another word. We better be careful of that. If we use the word titillating in there somewhere, somebody will cut this and edit it, and we'll be in trouble again. Anyway, let's get it here. I am so sick and tired of Major League Baseball and the absolute bullshit that goes on when it comes down to sucking money out of the fans. First thing now, the Miami Marlins. I have to make sure and get it right. I wrote it down, Florida Marlins, because I was actually there when they started the franchise. There's a rumble going around that they're going to once again hold a fire sale and get rid of some of their best players, which they've done time and time again under whatever ownership there is. Fans, stop putting up with it. Stop paying the money. Stop going to the games. Stop watching the games. Stop buying the gewgaws and the hats and the shirts. This is an organization much like the Colorado Rockies, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Oakland or whatever they are these days, Athletics. They don't give a shit about you. They don't care, because all it is about sucking off the network money that they have and the revenue share dollars that they get from Major League Baseball. That's why they're still in business. But it constantly amazes me. Mike, I posted something on social media, And I came back and got hammered by Miami Marlins fans who say, "Oh, Mr. Unhappy here. I guess you just have an axe to grind." We're doing pretty good right now. We're playing under 500 baseball, but they go right past the fact that they once again are considering a fire sale with some of their best players. Don't you get tired of this eventually? I do.
Yeah, I mean, you could go down. There's like a graveyard litany of former Marlins. What Giancarlo Stanton. I mean, the list goes on. And you go and you think to yourself, who are you going to get invested in there? And that goes for every franchise that does these rebuilds and fire sales. I mean, the Washington Nationals were World Series champions. People forget only 6 years ago. And now that franchise is a shadow of itself. Bryce Harper was gone by the time they won it, but then Juan Soto was a building block. Well, Juan Soto's been to a couple teams now already. And anybody that was around, Max Scherzer's gotten older. Strasburg's retired, but you never filled any of the holes. You never developed the players you were supposed to develop to get there. And their rebuild has taken forever. And that's the Marlins. That's so many other teams. And I guess I go back to this whole thing, Ed, where it's, you could the Moneyball idea and the movie were great ideas back in the day. The Oakland A's never won a World Series with Moneyball. Nobody won a World Series with Moneyball. The guy who started Moneyball went to the Red Sox and got a bunch of money to get the right players so they could win it. So I guess what I'm getting at is it's still if you put money into, so you get what you pay for in sports. You get what you pay for in Major League Baseball as an owner. You get what you pay for in the NBA as an owner. I can tell you 4 teams that will probably compete for the NBA championship next year. All of them are among the top payrolls in the NBA. That's just how it is. The people that spend the money reap the rewards, and they often do. Every now and then you'll get an outlier like the Kansas City Royals in the NHL.
Every now and then.
Or yeah, in the I'm sorry, in MLB,
League.
yeah.
MLB, yeah.
Or in the American League. I'm trying to think of somebody in the National Hockey League that didn't spend a lot of money but has won a couple Stanley Cups every now and then, but it doesn't happen that often.
Well, but what we're getting at, isn't it saying to the fans, or is this the truth of the matter now, that you cannot build a contender unless you go a couple of seasons, look real good, and then blow it up? I mean, what kind of business model is that? Because we're going at it again. I go back, even the Boston Bruins did it recently. They blew it up when that franchise was starting to dive, and they knew last season that they were not going to make the playoffs. The Bruins sold almost everybody, except maybe 3 or 4 of their top players, in order to rebuild. But fans need to understand it's this nonsense theory that you cannot keep building. Mike, didn't we used to build through farm systems and trades? Farm systems are basically DOA these days. They're only there to give somebody a couple of players to throw it in a trade. And we're at this, let's blow it up and start again. Well, then the fan has got to sit there for 2, 3, 4 seasons maybe, paying these ridiculous ticket prices, the parking prices, the concession prices, everything else that goes with it, and they've got to suffer through it where the teams are not really getting any better. We're building towards it. Why can't you build towards it and keep it going? That's so tough.
This is one of the hallmarks. It should be the hallmarks of this show. We're less about breaking news now, and we're breaking perspective. Okay, this is the truth.
Breaking news is nonsense. You can get it on your phone anywhere. You can go to your phone and you can get it 24 hours a day. We don't need to break news here. It's a matter of digging into what the essence of the news is.
Right. This is breaking perspective, okay? You don't have to have sustained excellence as an organization. It's great if you're the Patriots or the Celtics or the Yankees. It's great if you have the payroll and you have the farm system and you have the people in place that you're not going to fire tomorrow. It's wonderful. I think people would just want sustained pretty goodness or sustained, we could be great someday. I rather than, I don't mind organizations that sell hope that genuinely have it if they don't win it all. The Knicks have been selling hope forever. Well, they finally have some hope. I'm okay with that. I can't deal with we were this team and now we got to be this team now because, like the Pacers. The Pacers were on their way. They lost Miles Turner. Halliburton is going to be out for next season. Who knows if the Pacers get back to the finals in the next 10 years? And so, it's frustrating. It's tough. And as a sports fan, especially of a certain team that you put money into, it must just be infuriating.
Well, that's the bigger part of it here, and your point is well taken. If I'm a fan going to a game of any kind, it doesn't make a difference. Baseball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, I don't care. At least when I pay my money for the tickets, let me have a realistic possibility of going to the game, enjoying it, and maybe we'll win. But there's people right now who go to games who are being suckered for ridiculous amounts of money. There's no way you're going to win. And you almost know it when you're walking in. And that comes down to, again, another issue about Major League Baseball. It's time for baseball's management, the C-level, the commissioner, whatever. And I know this is never going to happen, Mike. I know I'm basically just blowing smoke. But at least hold owners responsible. At least hold them to the point where they are continuing to make strides to at least be competitive. Where you've got an ownership in Tampa right now that's selling out because they don't want to put in the money for a new stadium. They're going to wait for somebody else to buy it for them.
Oh, sorry about that.
Don't worry about that. And the Marlins are doing the same thing. I mean, it's an ownership that doesn't seem to give a damn. And you can go through any sport and talk to the fans who know that they've got an ownership that isn't trying. But back to Major League Baseball. Hold their feet to the fire. You've got something there. Try at least, but we know it's not going to happen because the commissioner answers to the owners. The owners pay the commissioner's salary. It's never going to happen because they're the guys who have all the power.
I can't stand Rob Manfred. I think he's maybe because I have a relationship with Adam Silver and I've known him for a long time, and they're probably one of the most progressive leagues out there. And I can deal with some of the NBA's hypocrisy sometimes when it comes to China and trying to be socially conscious. But what I can't deal with is Rob Manfred. He's an empty suit, okay? He's an empty suit. He has no convictions. I think they got rid of the Indians' Chief Wahoo racist moniker years ago because they got enough pressure. They refused to do it with the Braves and the Tomahawk Chalk because who knows why. But it's like, like they even had a pitcher for the Cardinals a few years ago who was of the Cherokee Nation, said it was offensive during the playoffs that these Brave chants, and they tried to calm it down. Of course, now it's back, and it's like it's the old. I mean, I know it's a pet issue with mine, but it's the only living people we still caricature. It's the only living people of a race or a culture that we still caricature and think it's okay. And Rob Manfred won't touch it because it's not economically feasible right now. And it's that, and it's like 20 other things with him. He's just a fraud. And you're right. It doesn't matter. These guys have Supreme Court staying power because the owners only care about their own bottom lines. And if the owners let other owners get away with these fire sales and ruining a fan's experience and making a mockery of the franchise until they feel the need to spend money again, I mean, I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do other than turn your back on the sport. Turn your back on the sport.
Nobody's going to touch the Braves because even Manfred and people in baseball right now have said that the Braves are the model franchise for what they've done in building not just a new stadium outside of Atlanta, but they have an entertainment complex, they have apartment complexes, they have everything that has made them successful because they built more than a ballpark. And after the All-Star game, people have said they are the franchise that everybody wants to be like. So they're not going to bother the Braves because the Braves are making money and the brand sticks. They can bother the Cleveland Indians and make them change to the Guardians because the city of Cleveland is down. The attendance is down. The fan base is down. They're down on the team because there's another franchise that hasn't done anything to really create a consistency of winning and to at least give the fans something that they can harp on, that they can hope for.
Yeah.
So they changed that to the Guardians. Not a big idea. We'll come back and we'll deal with them later because it's easy, Mike. They don't want to deal with it. It's like they wait until the franchise is down and then they can go ahead and take advantage of it. They can't do that with the Braves. The Braves are down this year, but they're making money hand over fist, so nobody is going to bother them. It is at the end all about the haves and have-nots, all over again.
Well, I mean, the fact that they let the A's go to the look, I love that the people in Sacramento, where my sister lives, and everything can go see the Braves. See the A's within 20 minutes of their house. But I mean, it's a minor league ballpark. It's, I understand they're just over there until they get to Vegas, but what a shame. I mean, you want to look at the death of professional sports. You start with Oakland. Within 5 years, they lost the Warriors, the A's, and the Raiders. Within 5 years, can't make it up.
Die in all you said right there. The NBA, Major League Baseball, and the NFL, and to a lesser extent, even in the Bay Area, for one time, I believe it was the California Golden Sharks in the NHL. Golden Seals. These sports entities let it die in Oakland because Oakland's a dying city. Nobody wants to go to Oakland. Look, I just got back from San Francisco. I spent a wonderful week in San Francisco doing some work, and also I took Lady Shannon out there for her birthday. We had a marvelous time. Are you kidding? San Francisco was one of the best, nicest cities I've ever been in America, in North America, anywhere. And that comes down to a lot of the politics. It says, oh, it's a nasty, dirty city. It's like any other city in America. It has its bad spots. It has its great spots. It has its good spots. But if you go to the people there, nobody wants to go to Oakland. It's a dead city, except for the port. People are trying to escape from Oakland. They want to get the hell out of there. And then you go right across, and it's funny how in the shadow of the Bay Bridge, if you just look over here to your right, it's a Bay Bridge. Over here to the left, it's Oracle Park, and one of the most beautiful baseball parks anywhere in America where the San Francisco Giants play. It's electric, but they let them die because, look, we can go to Vegas where there's more money. We can go any place where there's more money. And that's why Oakland is never going to get a major league franchise again in its life. You guys are dead, DOA, done, because ownership never put it into getting a winning team there.
Yeah.
Maybe for the Raiders for a few years. But even the leagues themselves, Mike, gave up on Oakland. You're done.
Yeah.
Admit it. You got to go over the Bay to see a baseball team.
It dovetails right into that F1 stuff, too. Like, there are only, 4 or 5 teams that can win a championship, and yet they sell you on all these other organizations, and it's like, no, these people spend money, these people have the top drivers, these people don't. So you literally have a league of actually 4 to 6 teams, not 20 or 30.
Maybe. I mean, you've got every week in it really doesn't make a difference, but every week in Formula One, you've got 4 to 6 teams that are going to win. They have the greatest chance to win. Maybe every now and then a 7th. And maybe it's not even 4. Maybe it's only 2 or 3 teams that you know are going to win every single week because they've got the money. They've got the best drivers. They've got the best cars. They've got the best teams. They've got the best technical people working with them. And fans go and they flock. They flock to get to these Formula One events, and they pay ridiculous amounts of money to go to an event and see a car every now and then. Okay, let's wait. Okay, no, wait. We got to wait at least another 2 minutes here for it to come back. Wait a minute. Okay, there it is. Okay, let's sit back and have another cocktail, waiting for it to come around.
I have to go to a Formula One race at some point because
the spectacle,
the people I know that go swear by it. I just don't. It's not my scene. It's kind of like golf a little, like I love, like I'll watch Rory McIlroy if he's in the hunt, or Scotty Scheffler if he's about to win his 3rd tournament in a row. But I can't do golf on television. I can't even do golf in real life. I'd rather go hiking or fishing. It'd be interesting to see how long it lasts. It's clearly taken over whatever niche NASCAR had for a while. I guess my thing is it's like anything else. You spend the money, you win. You don't, you lose. Anyway, that's my take on it.
Yeah, no, it's we have to get into this because this is going to enter a dangerous phase for us. But I think it needs to be said because we are now dealing at a time when the federal government is getting involved in sports to a level that makes us say, well, gee, everything else must be done. I guess we've solved everything else, so we don't have to worry about it. And for those who don't know, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, is considering an executive order that would require the feds, and I'm reading now from the report, to clarify whether college athletes can be considered employees of their schools. Now, this is a draft copy of the order that is sitting out there that people are already talking about. The draft calls on the Secretary of Labor and the National Labor Relations Board to determine and implement the appropriate measures with respect to clarifying the status of collegiate athletes. The draft states the employment status of college athletes should maximize the educational benefits. Ooh, education, what a shock. And opportunities schools can provide through their athletic departments. Mike, we've got a government now. Everything else has been solved in America. No worries. Everything's good. Every child can go to bed every night without having to worry about getting a meal. Everybody can afford a home. Medical insurance is all said and done. We've taken care of the floodplains. We've done everything. Let's get into college athletics. I mean, I want to scream, but I don't want to become one of those screamers. That's kind of the point here. Let's be rational about this. What in the name of sweet Jesus are we doing getting the federal government involved in college athletics? Is everything else been solved? We have nothing else to get involved in? This is nonsense, Mike.
I'd be amused by all this if if this wasn't happening at the highest levels of government by the leader of the free world. Are you kidding me? We're trying to find out if there are any more pedophiles out there that helped Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, to me, I want to make sure no other kids are harmed. As a former a person that's come out as a survivor of child sexual abuse, I have a right to want to know if there are more pedophiles involved in this ring that essentially procured teenage girls for Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know. I don't care if it's the President of the United States. I mean, I don't care if it's some gas station attendant in Jacksonville. I don't care. I just want to know if they're out there and that they should be held accountable. I want to know that starving kids aren't starving in Africa. Well, it's too late because apparently we're burning the food that we were supposed to send to them through USAID, which is now an abolished agency under the federal government.
Hey, Mike, let's not even take it to Africa for a second. Let's just come to America, where starvation and food insecurity is a real problem here, where kids are not getting their meals at lunch for school, and they're not getting enough food to basically go to bed at night. And that's something the government used to do and used to help with. But now we don't do that anymore, even in our own backyard.
Yeah, but who cares about make America great again? Let's pretend there were student athletes. These guys were always and remained unpaid apprentices for a skill. They spend more time in Division I basketball and football trying to fulfill their sports scholarship than they ever do in a classroom. That's how it is at big schools. So they should be paid accordingly. And I don't see why there's a problem with this. Maybe you regulate NIL. I don't care. But this is stupid for the federal government to get involved in. This is like trying to fix boxing because you're going to federalize. You're going to take all the alphabet. World Boxing Council, WBA, WIBF, and you're going to federally regulate them. No, you don't. They've always been crooked. That's what boxing is. I just can't. I can't even go there. It's sickening.
But we have
It
to go there
just
for a
shows. It
second.
shows you the lack of. It shows you the lack of priorities of this administration. The lack of
it's not even the
foresight.
administration.
Everything.
It's actually everything in general. It's fans as well. Don't you fans of college football realize you're just being suckered? That's all it is.
Yeah.
You're being suckered into create this wonderful, beautiful idea that everything's going to be fixed and the players are going to be paid and everybody's going to get an education and everything's going to be fine. The federal government has no place whatsoever in getting involved in college athletics. As bad as the NCAA is, it's the networks, it's the television networks, it's the sponsors, it's the people here who own, it's the athletic directors, it's the school universities that are going to decide this. You don't need to get the government involved because at the end of the day, they're going to make their own decisions. Stop federalizing sports, for crying out loud, because is that not what's happening here? Am I missing something?
I'm doing my Brian Gumble pensive look right now. Yeah.
And you do it very well. I don't have a pair of glasses.
But it's so, I can't even go there because I just start being profane and ugly and a side of me that would come out that I don't think anybody wants to see. I think the bigger issue is, Cooper Flagg just signed a $67 million, whatever it is, the rookie minimum 4-year deal. He reclassified to graduate from high school early at 17. He's now 18 years old. He'll be the second youngest player to enter the NBA after LeBron James. And you know what? He used Duke for what they were for. He got a nice tutelage for a year and got the exposure he needed in college against the best players in college basketball. And now he's off to the races to make his fortune. Maybe he gets an honorary degree at Duke at some point.
Who cares?
His education is done. It's done, and we should be happy for it. Okay, so not everybody is going to school to become a medical.
A doctor, a lawyer,
a medical researcher.
They're not trying to change the world. They're trying to make a lot of money.
Somebody that's a specialist in the hip, in aligning your hip. Not everybody's going to school for that. Not everybody is going to school to become a molecular biologist. Some people just are going to school to become professional football and basketball players, and even baseball players. And you know what?
And hockey
That's
players.
That's the reality, and it's always been. And God bless them if they get some classwork done too.
Is college athletics, at the end of the day, not supposed to get people ready for the next phase of their life? Okay, let's stop for a moment and let's consider this. If you want to become a doctor, you go to the college of your choice, and you figure out exactly what you want to be. You take your time, you get your education, you get ready to go out there into the world. Same thing for a lawyer or an accountant or anything else. If you want to become let's be honest, you may not succeed. I mean, that's another thing, too. People are saying that, well, you've got to set yourself up. It's good that you come in here and get an education because you're setting yourself up just in case you fail at the sport, that you have something to fall back on. Well, wait a minute. If you're going to college and you want to become a doctor, you may not become a doctor. You may suck at it. You seriously may.
Yeah, you might screw it. Your residency is basically the G League of medicine.
Sure.
All right, so you might just screw up your residency and not ever be certified by a board.
So you got nothing to fall back on.
Nobody's guaranteed anything.
Right, nothing. Nobody is guaranteed anything. So if you come to a school and you get paid to play a sport, you want to become a basketball player. Well, there's only so many jobs out there to become a basketball player. Okay, I'm going to take the risk because I'm really good. I was really good in high school. I was really good here, and I can take my chance. And if I fail, well, then I got to go out and get a job. Guess what? You got to go out. What is the old saying from Ted Knight in Caddyshack, where he said to Danny Noonan, Judge Smales goes, well, the world needs ditch diggers too. Guess what? The world needs ditch diggers too. I mean, somewhere along the line. So if you go into a college and you get paid to play a sport, and that sport makes money for you and for the university, then that money that the university is making, that maybe they should take it and plow it back into athletics, into academics. But hang on a sec, I'm going off on another entire tangent here, which we can talk about another time. But for the player's standpoint, I want to be a football player. I want to be a basketball player. I'm going to take my shot. If I fail, I'm going to go out and I'm going to drive for Uber. I'm going to deliver for FedEx somewhere. I'm going to deliver for Amazon. That's the way the world works, Mike. What am I missing?
Yeah. It's we all have our dreams. Some of
We
them
all
are
make
crushed
choices.
badly.
Am I missing anything?
Some of them are crushed badly. Some of them end up like fairy tales like ours. But not everybody's works out.
But we don't need the government getting involved. And a
No.
president of the, and look, I don't care if it's a Republican, if it's a Democrat, if it's right or left, if it's MAGA or not. I don't care, liberal, conservative. We don't need you getting involved in college athletics. That's not your job. Your job is to deal with things that are a whole lot more important.
I don't think these. I can't even. Lately, it's just it's. Lately, we just keep getting in our own way as a country, as a nation, in every which way. And let's just hope when this is all said and done, we look back and go, "What the hell were we doing? What the hell were we doing?"
What were we doing that was important? And the important
Yep.
nature of a government right now is not worrying about if college football players or college basketball players are unionized or paid or become employees. NIL.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? The
colleges are
federal
already
government.
deciding it. They're already
The federal
they've
government.
already decided
Yeah.
it, Mike.
No, the federal government, Ed, has to worry about serious issues like getting rid of Ernie and Big Bird. I mean, my God, did everybody I know, Republican, Democrat, Independent, you grew up on Sesame Street. I know that, Gordon and everybody Bob and everybody had to die or get fired at some point. But God bless America. Can't we freaking have a PBS station with kids' educational stuff anymore? Is
We don't
that
even
too
have
much
it
to
anymore.
ask?
Big Bird and Sesame Street, aren't they part of HBO now, or
They
or
probably
one of the
bought 'em
major
out.
platforms? I think now you have
Yeah,
to go
but,
ahead and you got to pay to get it.
Well, Big Bird's got a good agent. He's always had one.
Well, Big Bird's name has been actually mentioned on a fake phony as it is, and I even even I got involved in this. Big Bird's name has been listed on a parody Epstein Files list. It's basically
That's funny. That's funny.
The Epstein Files had Barack Obama, Joe Biden, the auto pen. That was another thing I saw. It lists the auto pen as being on the
Yeah.
Epstein list, and Big Bird is there right above Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Stop. But we got to get away from this worrying about whether the government should be taking care of sports. Sports screws itself up enough every single day.
Yeah, right.
Let them go ahead and do it. Now, we've
And that leads us right into the ESPYs as we finish this program.
oh, wait a minute. See, now I don't watch the ESPYs. I have never watched a complete ESPYs, just like I've never watched a complete Pardon the Interruption, and I don't watch Sports Center. So that means I must be missing something. But the only good thing about the ESPYs is it's mindless entertainment, Mike. But I know you watched it.
Well, I didn't. I watched the opening monologue, and it's just funny how you get a comedian like Shane Gillis, and to make it all these athletes and celebrities feel uncomfortable. The problem with the ESPYs is nobody laughs at themselves anymore, especially athletes, and so all the humor is lost upon these people that are almost cringing, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like, and some of the humor was base. I mean, it's the kind of stuff that maybe you and I would laugh in a comedy club if we were by ourselves and we didn't have the world looking at us. But when the Shane Gillis guy comes out, like, me and Caitlin Clark, we have a lot in common. We're white. We're from the Midwest, and we both nailed a lot of threes. Like, really?
That's funny.
I know it is, but it's like lost on an audience that is like, oh, that's too gross to laugh at, or they're just, it's just cringe. The whole thing is just over the top bad and cringy, and it's cringe when they keep showing Pat McAfee because he's the one laughing.
But why is it cringy though? I mean, look, and I bring this up
No,
because
it's not. It's not.
it's
Like
not.
it's cringy. It's off the cuff comedy that that people, because it's a Disney corporation, they maybe they want to be edgy more, and they obviously are gone into business with McAfee and all uh, uh, these other sludge drivers that I don't, but it's tough to watch just because nobody laughs that like they should laugh. They're also sensitive. I mean, even like the joke about hey, there's SGA, good to see you, good to see you. The people around SGA right now are in foul trouble, so be careful. It was some good, it was fun, but he wouldn't laugh. Like nobody really cracked up at anything. Or
Look,
the
it was one of
old
the, and I'm reminded
at the
about
end of
this
his
as well.
monologue, at the end of his monologue, he paid homage to Norm Macdonald's old OJ joke. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Where he said, hey, so and so won the Heisman Trophy this year. So and so won the. Travis Hunter was the first defensive player, and can't take that away from anybody. Well, unless you kill your wife and a waiter, then they can take it from you. And
And it's
nobody laughed at that. He loved it, but nobody laughed at that. And I thought it was funny. There was a real great one about Shador Sanders where he goes, "Hey, everybody says this stuff about Shador Sanders is nepotism, and he shouldn't have his jersey retired in Colorado, and it's all about his dad." And I don't believe that at all. I mean, he really worked hard to have a 13-12 record and almost win an Alamo Bowl.
yeah.
And I was like,
funny.
that's biting. It's funny, but people are around like, oh no, we don't want to offend Shador, and Shador's not laughing. Like, shut up, laughing.
already seeing
Nobody
that. I mean,
laughs
on
at
social
themselves.
media, the
Nobody
next day it
laughs
was-
at themselves anymore.
On social media, it was the next thing, and I swear to God, it was one of the first things I saw where somebody talked about that exact joke about Shador Sanders and said it was a white guy making a joke about a black guy. It's a racially, and this was on social media. It's a racially tinged joke. It was made to go after a black man. It was just another white guy making a racist joke. I've been involved with comedians a good part of my career, and I've always had these conversations with comics where they go, we're supposed to make fun of things. We're supposed to make people uncomfortable. That's what comedy is all about. If it makes you cringe a little bit, then the comedy has done its job. It has nothing based in racism whatsoever. It's funny. And not only that, Shador Sanders did get all of this because his dad was the coach. And he did get all of this because Colorado was looking to make as much money as possible and up their marketing and up their brand. And Shador Sanders and Dion helped them do that. So they're willing to go ahead. Let's make the kid a Hall of Fame member after 1.5 seasons or 2 seasons, whatever he did, and he could barely scratch over 500. Doesn't make a difference. Yay! Rah, rah! We got to the Alamo Bowl, baby! Let's go ahead and celebrate that Alamo Bowl win. It's, oh, God. It's just too hysterical, Mike. As
I said, the great Richard Sandomir, my former colleague at the New York Times, used to cover media. Now he's a hell of an obituary writer for the New York Times. He once had a line like, and we've got the ESPYs tonight, which has become a celebration of itself. I mean, it's essentially there's no Foreign Press Association. There's an award for the best highlight of the year. Okay. Great, you got an award show. Maura Mant Maura Mant was a great producer of that show. She's passed away a few years ago. She was the brother of a couple guys that I know, the Mant brothers. Michael Mann in particular used to produce the Jim Rome show. She did a great job of making something out of nothing. But whoever's carried on the legacy, it's schlock.
But schlock sells, Mike.
Well, this is true.
It sells and it makes a tremendous amount of money. So what are we sitting here? Just a couple of white guys complaining about people making money?
Hey,
that's where we get every single time we come.
All we have to do is offend the right people, and we can start really making money. If we go rogue and start picking on the poorest of the poor and co-eds like McAfee, boy, we could make a living for ourselves at this, Ed.
Well, but see, that's part of it too. It's the whole thing, and that's why when you look at what FS1 has done, or Fox, where they basically crushed FS1 and
So wait,
crushed
real
three
quick,
shows.
real quick, is that First Things First show off the air now?
I'm
Because Chris,
I'm not sure if that was part of one of
I
the shows
gotta
that they took off, but the show, what got the most attention from that is because Joy Taylor got bounced. Joy Taylor
right, but
got
what
her
about
job.
Nick Wright and Kevin Wildes and Chris Broussard? Their First Things First show. Like Chris Broussard's an old friend of mine, and I want to make sure he's still employed. If
I'm not
he's
even
not,
sure if
I'll
he
be
is
very
employed
upset.
anymore at this point.
Okay.
But I mean, it's a matter of they're getting rid of the shows that really are just nothing more than pablum, is all they are. And what do they replace it with? They bring in Dave Portnoy and Barstool Sports. Why? Barstool Sports pisses people off. They say things that angers people. But look, Mike, at the end of the day, isn't that what we do as well? I mean, some of the things we've said today are undoubtedly going to piss a lot of people off. They're going to be happy of us. They're going to be unhappy for us, unhappy at us for making a comment about Donald Trump and the administration getting involved in college athletics. They're going to be incensed about some of the things we said about Formula One. So at the end of the day, aren't we all just basically trying to piss somebody off better than anybody else?
Essentially. So that's the goal.
Actually, it is the goal as well, but we're trying to say that it doesn't have to be that. You can at least have some general conversation, and you can at least get involved in some instances, and you don't have to piss anybody off. But at the end of the day, you probably will. So it's not a bad thing. Hey, by the way, have you seen... Go ahead.
I think even with this show, I was going to say, if we're not making someone think, laugh, be angry, or cry, at least once a week, then we're not doing our jobs.
Well, that's
our jobs are elicit emotions and put ourselves out there in a way that makes people resonate with it. I think the difference between us is we just do it with a modicum of decency that doesn't cater to the lowest common denominator.
Well, but that's just it. It's a matter of catering to that lowest common denominator, but that makes money. And if it makes money and it gets clicks, that's the important thing. Look, one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, we've talked about the media a lot in the last couple of shows. Local television sports is dead. It's gone. It's over.
I would want to spend time on this, but having worked in local TV just for about a year and a half, I can tell you that ship is so far gone. It's so far gone, and it's, I feel bad for people who actually that's where they started their careers and they made their jumps to the big networks. Nowadays, it's almost unnecessary because of some of the stuff out there. But at any rate,
look, I can come back and do that too, and I can say that because I started my career in radio. I started in radio news. I went to radio sports. And then from radio sports, I went to television sports in Miami at WCIX in Miami, which was an independent station about 1 billion years ago. And from there, I made the jump to network television. And look, that's exactly how it worked. That was the way it used to be done. Now all you have to do is get on a podcast somewhere, or you need to be able to wear something risque, or be able to say something risque, or to be able to say something hammering somebody. You're immediately there. But it's not even local television sports anymore. Local TV sports is dead to the point where all it is a high school story every now and then. And here's one of the things that annoys the hell out of me. We learned about this in local television sports about 1 million years ago. We would be on the air on a Monday night, and the Miami Dolphins were playing Monday Night Football. And we couldn't show highlights of the game. So what we did is we let off the sportscast by saying, and the Miami Dolphins are playing tonight right down at the Orange Bowl, and here's the score. And a graphic would come up. It would say, like, here's Miami, here's what the other team was. Miami leads 21-14. We'll have highlights for you tomorrow. Anybody who's interested in the game is watching the game. They're not watching me for highlights. So I actually went to the news director one night and I said, let's not do Dolphins scores anymore. They're the Miami Dolphins. They're the only game in town. We have to do something about it. No, Anybody watching me is not really giving a damn about the Dolphins right now. They're watching the game over on Monday Night Football. They're on ABC. They're over on Channel 10 watching the game right now. Reminder once again, if you want to go ahead and catch the show on podcast, you go wherever you get your podcasts, go to Podbean, and you can find the fastest show in sports. Or you can find it then on wherever you get your podcasts. It's distributed there. You want to go to the YouTube channel, go to the fastest show in sports, catch the YouTube channel and catch the video. You have a chance to email us at fastestshowinsports@gmail.com. And you can basically tell Mike and me that we're wrong, which we probably are in about just about everything we said today. But that's okay. It was the honest thing to do. So go ahead and do that. For Mike Wise, I'm Ed Berliner. For everybody here on the fastest show in sports, rock on, true believers. Until next time, see ya.
That's all, folks.